Hi, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to revisit a video I shot about a year ago on the main K4 channel called Why Taking CPP at 65 is the Worst Possible Option. One of the biggest criticisms I got on that video was that I did not factor in inflation. So that's what we're doing today. I've updated the chart that I did from last year. We'll revisit the first chart. We'll also look at a new one. But before we get into the video, I want to say a huge and hopefully sincere thank you. I hit 1,000 subscribers a couple of days ago, and that was a big milestone for me. It was my first goal. I have more goals with the channel. I want to keep bringing content and advice and hopefully information that is beneficial to you. So thank you so much for all the likes, all the shares, all the comments. Thank you very much. And then one last thank you to my good friend Jeremy, who does all the editing and all the graphic work on this channel. It is a skill set I do not possess. You do. You are beautiful. Thank you so much for everything you do for me. Thank you for your friendship as well. Let's get into the video. So this is the chart that I made last year. And what I did was I compared $1,000 assumed CPP at age 65. And just as a reminder, if you do take CPP early, you will be penalized 0.6% per month or 7.2% per year, all the way down to $640 from the original 1,000 if you started at age 60. On the flip side, you'll be rewarded with 0.7% per month or 8.4% per year if you delay beyond your 65th birthday. And so what I'm not saying, and I want to be clear about this, what I'm not saying is that you should never take your CPP at 65. All I'm highlighting here, and what these highlighted values represent, is the most cumulative income at a particular birthday, and it's never highlighted for age 65. So all I'm saying here is that it is never the optimal income, cumulatively speaking, when you isolate the CPP decision. Now, there's a myriad of different things that go into a CPP discussion. In fact, just last week, I recommended age 65 to a client. Things like how young or old are you when you retire, how much you have in other investment types, RSPs, TFSAs, and the like. Are you doing an RSP meltdown? What's your life expectancy? Do you have a pension? There's all kinds of factors that need to be brought into the discussion. All this is saying is that in isolation, 65 is never optimal. And so again, what's highlighted here is on the 61st birthday, if you had started at 60, you would have received $7,680 compared to zero across the board because the other ones hadn't started. It's the optimal amount, and you can see all the different optimal amounts that are highlighted. Often when you hear people talking about CPP break-evens, it's usually around age 83, but here you're seeing that at age 70 start date isn't optimal to age 86. So when people are saying age 83-ish for break even, what they're actually comparing is 65 to age 70 start date, whereas here I'm comparing all the different birthday start dates. That was a lot of information. Let's go into the new chart that has brought inflation into the picture. So let's first go through what I actually did to get to the end result chart, and it's a 3 or 4 step process here. So first what I did was I went back to 2013 and I found the maximum CPP that you could have received at age 65 had you started in 2013 and every year after that. I then calculated how much that increase was in a percentage form, and I found the average. So the average over those 11 different data points there is 2.76%. So that's the number I'm going to be using going forward as the inflation figure. And so what I did was I said, okay, how do we actually calculate the proper amount for an example here? So here's the assumption. You are 59 years and 11 months old. You know that if you start your CPP next month at age 60, you'll receive exactly $600 per month. But if you wait, we know you'll get it a 0.6% per month until 65, and then an additional 0.7% per month after that. And then on top of that increase, I'm also factoring in the inflation. So age 60 would be $600 exactly. Age 65 would be $973.30. Age 70 would be $1,669.22. And as a side note, this assumes you are retiring right now. There's not going to be any additional contributions between 60 and 65 or beyond that for that matter. So the first year of income would be $7,200, and obviously this increases along the way, all the way up to $20,000. The next step I took was I put out how much you actually would get in any particular year. And what I have highlighted here is which income at this particular year is the highest. And again, no surprise, it should always be the newest income coming in because it has that guaranteed increase, whether it be the 7.2 or the 8.4% per year. It should always be the most. So if you look out at a particular year, if for whatever reason your goal was with CPP, in the year I turned 73, I want to know how much I can get the most amount of money. Obviously, it's starting at 70. That'd be a very weird goal, but if that's what it was, that would be what you'd be looking at. The important step is the next one. The next step is where I took all of this information and I brought in the cumulative income for every different starting date. And once again, just like the old chart, I highlighted the optimal version. There are a few differences and there are a few similarities. So let's get into that one. And here is that chart. So this is the cumulative income at any particular birthday that you would have received based on when you started your CPP. And what's highlighted is the optimal amount. And like I said, there are some similarities and some differences. Similarly, and obviously, if you start at age 60, it's the optimal amount of money that you receive for a number of years. One difference, though, is in the original chart, it stopped being optimal at age 69, whereas here it's at 72. So it's a couple extra years of being optimal. Then it starts to go over a year at a time. And in the original chart, when I did not have inflation factored in, it was about 2 years at a time per graph or per year that you started your income. Once again, though, when you factor in inflation or not, CPP starting at 65 is never the optimal cumulative income that you can receive. Again, it's a very strong option. In lots of cases, it makes sense to do it. It's just never optimal. The other difference that I found very, very interesting was I highlighted it in the original graph there. It was not until age 86 that starting at age 70 was the optimal cumulative income, whereas at here, once inflation is factored in, it's at age 81. So I thought that was also very, very interesting. CPP is a foundational income source. It is a bedrock that many of you will be building your retirement income houses on. It's an incredibly important decision to have your CPP start date dialed in. Now, again, I am not saying that we necessarily set things in stone. I say this to clients all the time. Even when I'm recommending CPP at 70, it doesn't mean that you must wait to 70. If market conditions change or spending habits change or health changes and you're 68, it still may make more sense for you to take it at that age. But it is critically important that you transition into retirement with some sort of plan around your CPP start date. If it's time for you to review that with me, there'll be a link in the description down below. I'd be happy to help. Till next time, keep planning.